In the United States, you can burn the American flag, but you can't burn the Israeli flag. In a groundbreaking case against the First Amendment, a judge ruled that the Israeli flag is a symbol of Jewish identity and must be protected. In the lawsuit, Jewish groups argued for the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism, which ties the support of Israel to the Jewish people. I thought claiming Jews had a dual loyalty to the state of Israel was an anti-Semitic trope. You guys see why their claims of anti-Semitism is complete bullshit and changes based on what is convenient to them? What about the anti-Zionist Jews who often burn the Israeli flag? Are they committing an act of anti-Semitism against themselves? Anti-Semitism used to be the hatred of Semitic people. Now it's simply people who say and do things that Jewish people don't like. And there are already Americans being charged with hate crimes for assaulting the Israeli flag. It is 100% natural to want to tear down the flag of a foreign genocidal state. The same Republicans who are obsessed with protecting the Israeli flag are often attacking Americans for flying the flags of their cultural heritage. Do you guys remember the absolute meltdown that Republicans had during the ICE protests earlier this year, where Mexicans were waving the Mexican flag on stolen Mexican land? Meanwhile, these are the same Republicans who often fly the Israeli flag or have it displayed outside their office. The Israeli flag is plastered all over Washington, D.C. and in congressional offices, while being treated as a protected symbol where you will be guilty of hate crime charges if you go after it. Meanwhile, they say you're an anti-Semite when you mention the United States as a Zionist-occupied country.
What's poppin'? My friends, my family, welcome back. The streak continues. Another edition of Nick at Primetime. I had to bring my friend with me today because it's actually almost better that you are able to join us today instead of Wednesday because there's so much going on. What's popping? Our great friend from DDG. Thank you for joining us, Sarah. Great geopolitical analyst and journalist. How you doing?
Is the lighting okay? It's kind of
much better than mine.
Okay. It's raining here, so lighting's all weird. How are you? It's good to see you. It's been a while.
Yeah. It's, you guys know we got a close friendship relationship with DDG. You guys have been doing great international work. I saw the traveling that you guys have done. You guys have irked the ire of the State Department. Apparently, yeah. I don't know what we can talk about or not, but I'm glad to see you okay. There were some quote unquote anti-imperialist figures who get spotlighted in GQ magazine shoots. And then there's DDG, Sarah, who get questioned by the Fed.
Right, exactly that. That's what my reaction was. I was like, I don't want to hear a goddamn thing about anybody being censored or harassed or scared or all of this crap. It's so funny because, we're pretty quiet about that stuff. We don't whine about being shadow banned, even though we're all always shadow banned. You know that. We're all always being suppressed. And then these people are constantly complaining, but I try to come through the airport and I'm immediately detained, searched, and everything. So these people don't leave their homes.
So this is the big topic of the day, and I want to give your thoughts on this because I already gave my opinion on what I expected from this meeting. Sarah, before we get into it, I got a lot to share. I want to get your thoughts on what your mindset was leading up to this. Do you think this will lead it to anything? Do you think Trump is pursuing peace in good faith? I have my theory. I'm curious on what you think before we actually dive in here. This video right here, this is the moment that will be played for a very long time. Ukrainians are in shambles. The pro-war corporate liberal media, they're in absolute shambles. We see how we doing with time because I still want to play the press conference. But I want to show you guys how the liberal media has been completely melting down at the concept of peace. But Sarah, what's your thoughts before we move on?
I didn't think that it would amount to much. The two parties are way too far apart in what they want for Ukraine. What I thought would happen, and I might be right, what I thought would happen would be there was some thawing of maybe the economic and sort of diplomatic freeze on the two, maybe establishing their embassies again. I mean, these two are very far apart diplomatically. There's not even any direct flights. That's a huge barrier. That's one of the first steps Russia wants towards the normalization. So, we'll see what happens, but I think it'll be baby steps. It's a very slow process.
Yeah, and isn't it interesting how Donald Trump was punishing India with tariffs because the Trump administration said that India was fueling the Russian war machine? And they was like, how dare you get close to Russia, criminal rogue state? And then they immediately turn around and they try to get close to Russia because the messaging that coming from Trump people is that this is more than just about the Ukraine war. We want to have, and we want to expand economic ties potentially with Russia. And this is what leading to a large amount of the freak out, not only just the peace talks, but the idea that he brought his economic team, Putin brought his economic team. So how are you going to punish India for doing what you're attempting to do right now? I just thought that was funny. Another thing I want to mention, because obviously we're going to get to the press conference and the substance and the Western reaction to seeing Putin here and the way that they treated the Russian journalists. So we will get to all that here very soon. But what I found interesting was the liberal reaction to peace talks. You have, and obviously these are like coordinated by Democrats groups. But what did they say about Democrat values? That they are not like protesting against the genocide in Gaza right now. They're not protesting the fact that Israel murdered the entirety of Al Jazeera journalist corps. They're not protesting genocide. They are protesting the concept of ending peace. Look, here it is.
I'm assuming that
These are people. I got the audio not too important. I'll turn it down. This is what happens when you have an entire generation of MSNBC watching boomers who are radicalized by nonstop pro-war content. People like to talk about the propaganda of other countries, but what do you guys think is the long-term effect of nonstop Rachel Maddow, pro-war propaganda, 1 hour every day booming into your mind? This is what you get. He had any reaction to this? I thought this was funny.
I think the RT journalists trace that stuff back to Soros, like literally, like right back to the NGOs almost immediately.
Yeah. That I saw that as well. That doesn't surprise me at all.
Mm-hmm.
But what did it say that this is the messaging that the Democratic Party is presenting? And it works because even if this, I don't even like using that excuse because let's say it is Soros funded, they're still able to get shit lists to show up. Like this is what they are part of this party. And when people talk about how they have plans to hijack the Democratic Party and shift it left, they forget that many liberal voters are okay with this. They want neoliberalism. So whenever they see like a progressive candidate or any candidate telling the truth about Israel, they can't stand him. So you have a problem among the Democratic Party base, the same way you have in the Neocon party base. This is anti-Russian stickers that can be seen in Alaska. Yeah, shit love Soros events. You're not even allowed to say his name. That's an anti-Semitic trope, apparently.
Exactly. Yeah. Even attributing the protests to Soros, which he paid for, is anti-Semitic.
You guys know AOC wanted to attend this. they told AOC and Bernie Sanders, "You're not allowed to don't talk about Ukraine."
Yeah, no. Like, what are they thinking? Like, what are these people thinking? They're so bad at this. They're just so bad.
I've seen clips of like Max Blumenthal. There need to be more of those. I wish I didn't live in the middle of nowhere and I had more resources. Because I remember I saw Max Blumenthal when he questioned Jamal Bowman. And he didn't know what the Donbass was.
Right.
There's clips of our friend Kit Clarenberg questioning these people. There are people questioning like average Democrat voters who attend these protests. They have no idea what they're even protesting. Like you want to start World War III because you don't want Ukraine to be a neutral buffer state. Right. You have the Bernie Sanders left who want to defend the sanctity of a democracy that doesn't allow the right for collective bargaining. Socialists defending a Nazi fascist state. We have seen it all. But I talked about this earlier before. This is the receipts. And you can speak a lot on this about how like independent media is treated in the United States. Look, Russian journalists arriving in Alaska are housed in the Alaska Airline Centers, converted into temporary accommodation centers. So this temporary accommodation center, they pretty much got these little fucking huts.
Yeah,
it was even like crackers for breakfast. It's like, Sarah, you want to explain what's going on when Russian reporters?
This is basically like when they did it with Katrina. It's better than Katrina, but they just kind of put partitions up inside of a very large like open bay, and then that's it. Like you're like left there to just kind of fend for yourselves. These are cots. Like they're not even cots with like mattresses. They're like literally army cots. Like this is crazy.
Yeah.
And and the whole time, you know, they're Red Cross cots. Look at that. And the whole time, like Americans are saying, like you people, they don't even have toilets. I'm like, have you ever been to a journalist event in Moscow or in Russia at all? Like, I was like, they put you up in a hotel. Like, what is this? Like, it's wild. And because it was so flagrant, I think they did it on purpose.
Yeah, I think it's because the Washington D.C. establishment probably just hates that. Like they got this anti-Russia phobia so strongly. The idea that they would even prepare anything for them, it is so how bad faith they are.
I know, and I don't know if it was lack of preparation, because I know from working for the government and being in the military that often happens, or if it was just a blatant like insult. Like that's what they wanted it. Like that's what they wanted it to be perceived as.
Bro, the entirety of this week have been the Washington press corps absolutely fucking fuming. And I'm showing you guys just a few reactions of the neocon, pro-Banderite, Russia derangement syndrome liberals in the West. And they are upset that this summit is even happening. They are saying that this is a giant win for Putin, how Russia is isolated on a global stage, and this is the win that Vladimir Putin needs to make Russia seem like a legitimate country. Sarah, you're muted.
Trump is the one that's going to bring Putin back into the fold of the international community that has isolated him. It's so funny. Like, why would Trump being friends with Putin be doing him any favors? Trump's a pariah right now. What are you talking about? It's not the other way around. This is doing Trump a favor.
You guys realize that, and they keep saying that this is a great win for Russia and Putin because Russia is seeking to end their global isolation. Bro, Putin is supported by the global majority. You guys were just bitching and complaining about how India is fueling the Russian war machine and how Modi is too friendly with the Russian government. How many people in India are there, Sarah?
17 billion trillion.
So they got fucking billions of people in India who fucking love Russia. Then you have China, who also the Trump administration hates because they say that China is helping fuel the Russian war machine. So you have another fucking 3,000 billion right there. And then they say, oh, Russia is isolated because some fucking irrelevant states like France.
Right. Exactly.
These people who can't even run their government in a self-sustaining way without the help of the United States. People who are literally United States vassal states. People who've been completely deindustrialized like Germany. Complete jokes of the states are upheld as some of these states that everyone must love and must have approval of. I don't know how people fall for it. I guess that's Western chauvinism, American exceptionalism, white supremacy in a lot of ways, where they value the opinions of European countries more than the filthy Asian countries. That's the only thing that's the only way I can rationalize this kind of stuff working. A few more things I want to share before we get to the present day. You guys know when this fucking meeting happened, I had to see what my favorite neocons were saying. And the meltdown. And there are hundreds of hours of neocon meltdowns on the corporate media, which I enjoy. I'm a fucking nerd. Whenever I see these neocons melting down about peace, that shit, you can inject that shit in my veins, bro. But let's watch the video because there's more important reasons other than to just laugh at these idiots. I'm gonna show you guys what one whole ass political party is saying. Like, It's not like I'm picking on people who are irrelevant. This is one whole ass political party. And this is an issue that the progressive left agrees with the neocon right on. So you're not seeing any like progressive pushback in the party by Bernie Sanders. Ro Khanna wants to arm Ukraine because he believes in the right of self-determination, but he don't believe in it for Hamas. We exposed down the RBN. But anyway, let me play a little bit of this clip. Sarah, do you have anything you want to add before I get to the clip?
No, go to the clips because the press conference is over already, so we could cover the whole thing.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I had no idea how long the press conference was going to be.
They didn't take any questions.
All right, cool. We're going to play the press conference after I do this presentation, then, because I want to see what they said.
Yeah.
It literally just happened, so it'll be a live reaction from. I think it'll be fun. It'll be fun. I watched like maybe the first minute or two before it went live. So the order of this I have. I'm gonna show you guys the reaction of the Ukrainian banderites who want war. The pro neocon Ukrainians, they're fucking melting down. I wish I had enough time to show you guys the segments I see today. There's one segment I don't have time to show you guys, but it's one on MSNBC where it was like, Ukrainians are in dismay. Like the images of them seeing Trump and Putin is going to traumatize the Ukrainian generation forever. Like, bro, I wish I could nerd out with you guys with all these segments, but we don't have a lot of time, so I had to pick out some of my favorites. That's why I picked Morning Joke. I was like, man, if I'm going to show you guys one, it has to be my favorite neocon network. So here's their freak out. And also I'll show you guys this one because they brought on some fucking Democrat neocon to explain their party's position on this, which is batshit crazy.
Let's get more on this. Joining us now is Democratic member of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, Senator Chris Murphy of Connecticut. Senator, thank you very much for joining us. I was interested to see what you put out on Twitter X on this, that there is no scenario tomorrow in which Putin doesn't become stronger and America becomes weaker.
You guys see the framing? Like what does it say about your politics when simple peace talks always go against your side? You can't negotiate with America to benefit Hamas. You can't benefit with Xi Jinping on Taiwan because that would benefit China. You guys see this psychotic behavior? But Sarah, do you want to? I thought you were trying to.
No, you're cooking. Go. I love this psychopathy of constantly being like, oh, anytime we engage in peace talks, we're going to be on the losing side. Like peace is losing now.
And people feel like I have to apologize. I hate when people on the left feel like they have to apologize for wanting the United States to seek friendly relationships with Russia. And I think that's like one of the biggest changes in my mentality over the last few years. And this is why people view me as like a Russian puppet. This is why I'm banned and blacklisted from U.S. corporate media, because they view me as some sort of Russia lover. I will never in a million years apologize for the fact that I want the United States and Russia to seek cooperation and have a friendship the likes we've never seen before. I want China and the United States to have a friendly relationship so we can uplift the entirety of the global working class. This is what we are fighting for. We are the true patriots. That is what a true patriot will want. Your country to have friendly relationship with a massive superpower for the benefit of humanity. The people who want to sink the global working class and the people who have this toxic view of patriotism, which I did 1,000 rants about, but the toxic view of patriotism, that you're a fucking patriot because you got a fucking flag fetish and you cheerlead for all our illegal wars. You don't give a fuck about the homeless population. You don't give a fuck that there's a medical debt booming crisis going on right now. You don't give a fuck that there's a rise of deaths of despair, drug overdoses, because people are having mental breakdowns. You don't give a fuck about the status of the working class at all.
None.
You think you're a patriot because you got a flag on your fucking front lawn, because you cheer for the United States when they were torturing Iraqis, because you want the United States to murder all, and that's the majority of mainstream America. And both parties, they think they're a patriot because they cheer on never-ending war. They think they're a patriot because they want the United States to dominate Russia. I don't want the United States to dominate anybody. I want the United States and the United States working class to work in a cooperative way with people, even those we disagree with, for the betterment of all. How is that the radical position? But I consider an extremist in the West. Right? Anyway, let's get more to this clip. You guys only took like one sentence to trigger me.
Yeah.
But that's the quality of Morning Joe propaganda. I'll tell you, I think Morning Joe is the most quality propaganda. When you wonder why liberals, like, I think Richard Maddow was the liberal propaganda go. But Morning Joe is where you go if you want to listen to the voice of the state. Like, they are the state. It's like state TV in the most purest form. So let's get triggered a little bit more. Let's play this clip.
On Relations Committee, Senator Chris Murphy of Connecticut. Senator, thank you very much for joining us. I was interested to see what you put out on Twitter X on this, that there is no scenario tomorrow in which Putin doesn't become stronger and America becomes weaker. It's a pre-made disaster. Can you explain that a little bit more?
Well, the first thing that's happening here is the welcoming of Putin back into the order of major mainstream nations. He is
once again the absolute delusion. BRICS countries have a higher GDP than the G7. The plan that Joe Biden had to isolate Russia and weaken Russia was one of the greatest foreign policy blunders of the modern era. They brought China and Russia closer together. They brought India closer to Russia. They increased the viability of BRICS because more countries wanted to join BRICS because they saw the United States weaponize the financial system against Russia, which backfired in a massive way, which led to Russia having more global clout since the age of the Soviet Union. But according to the analysis of a standard Democratic neocon, oh, come on, man. We can't have peace talk with Russia because we were doing a good job already of isolating Putin. You guys see why I would snatch these motherfuckers' master's degrees? Like, this is the professional managerial class, Sarah, and we will run circles around them. You do it all the time. I see you be.
Why do you think
you're someone alive in the space today?
At the airport? Why do you think we're getting stopped at the airport and banned from social media platforms? Because we're smarter than these retards.
I'm the right to think that they had some sort of it was wild when I realized that these people are not that smart.
That's me too. I was like, that's the whole time you're like, I gotta be the crazy one. I gotta be stupid. And then you realize like the curtain falls and you're like, oh my God. Oh dear. Like you're just like, these people are leading the masses and they're like not even functioning like a pumpkin.
It's very like revealing when you realize that they had to kill Malcolm X. You know what I mean? They had to kill these people because they're not that smart. Their worldview is not coherent. Like I've explained this many times before. Like when you're younger, you have like a more grandiose respect for authority, whether you acknowledge it or not. So when I'm a teenager, even though I thought I hated all these news people, I thought they at least knew shit. Like I was like, oh, look at this news person. He actually knows a lot about history. He probably have a coherent ideology. This is what I thought. Like this is what I thought these people were smart. Then I actually dove into politics. You learn about stuff, and you realize that they have to rely on censorship. Like if they did it, they do.
They really do.
And the battle of ideas. That's goes to my point. That's why they have to kill Malcolm X. They have to do that because they couldn't argue against his points. If you guys hear Malcolm X arguing against Zionism, of course they have to kill that guy. You know what I mean? That they have to censor us. They have to detain Sarah. They have to engage in might makes right because they are deeply intellectually fraudulent. But there anything else you want to add? I'll play more. We on 30 seconds.
You're in very good form tonight. Keep going.
Nah, you always great. I always great to have you on, Sarah. You always great to have you on. Let's play a little more. Let's see how far we can actually get.
We've gotten 25 seconds in.
I don't really apologize for it anymore because I know you guys don't really care to listen to these motherfuckers. I use these videos only as a way for me to teach them. Give me a something to rant off of. I know you guys really give a fuck what this asshole really have to say. But anyway, but let's continue, and then I'm gonna continue to debug the propaganda
a little bit more.
Well, the first thing that's happening here is the welcoming of Putin back into the order of major mainstream nations. He is visiting the United States for the first time since he became a war criminal. He is standing with the most powerful person in the world, and it is a sign from Donald Trump, essentially.
How many times has Bibi been here? How many times Bibi been here?
You beat me to it, my friend. That's the obvious point that should immediately go to your skull when you think of all this fucking fake meltdowns. There's a reporter. I know you probably seen the clip. I'm gonna get to the Putin-Trump media clash where some fucking shit-lit reporter who's gonna write a book about this one day. I bet you. She yelled at Putin. She's like, "Will you ever apologize? Whoever commit to stop murdering civilians?" Like, sir and man, we just had Netanyahu here in the White House. We are literally sponsoring a genocide as a country, and you guys are, well, come on, Putin. Why are you murdering so many civilians? It's brain rot. But let's continue. But feel free to interrupt anytime, Sarah. This is fun.
The world, and it is a sign from Donald Trump, essentially, that all is forgiven. And so this is a big moment for Putin because he essentially is being legitimized in the eyes of the United States and in the
delusional.
So the United States that now legitimizes foreign leaders.
And the thing is, you guys know this is what Ro kind of believes too. Like this is no deviation among the Democratic class. Why do you guys think that none of the Bernie industrial complex, like, do you guys see Hassan Piker? Do you guys see these people ever do complex breakdown?
Ro takes money from Palantir. Stop it. Ro gets money from Palantir. Let's all be serious.
Good point. Let's continue. Good point. But it's wild. There are people like, oh, don't you know Ro Khanna? He's a good guy. He go on independent media. Nah, man. Nah, bro. He signed on to the batshit crazy anti-communism resolution. Mm-hmm. Who introduced that? Y'all, I'm blanking here. Was it Lindsey Graham? It was anyway. Josh Hawley, some fucker, who put out some anti-communism resolution, and Ro Khanna signed on to it. And he went on RBN like, "Will you guys ever support us if we ran again?" I'm like, "The fuck you talking about? No." Anyway, let's continue.
Eyes of the world. We know there's not going to be any major peace deal here, largely because one of the parties to the war isn't at the table. You can't sign a peace agreement if Zelensky isn't there. And so there's not going
because Zelensky is irrelevant.
Literally.
If the United States decided not to support Ukraine, this war is over. And Zelensky is an illegitimate, unelected leader. Why should Russia or any coherent international system ever defer to him in this situation where he only wants to continue this war so he can maintain power? He said, and this is the exact moment where Russia was like, okay, this motherfucker got to go. Because at first, and correct me if I'm wrong, Sarah, at first, Putin and Russia didn't even want to replace Zelensky. No, Putin's demands, and the West is slowly learning this, their demands in the beginning was extremely tame. Then Zelensky was like, hey, you guys got to return Crimea. We're not going to stop until we join NATO. We will never demilitarize. And then Russia was like, all right, this motherfucker got to go, bro.
Yep.
There's no other way around it. I'll only play a little more. We don't have to continue more of this. I just want to play Chris Murphy. He's a senator. He's someone worth paying attention to. You know what I mean? He has power. He's the guy that speaks on foreign policy. You guys know everyone has their role in the Democratic Party. AOC is there to sheep her young people into the party. Then there are people who they have a lot of faith in to be spokespeople for the empire. I see, as a propaganda watcher, I see Chris Murphy all the time. You know what I mean? Like, that's his job. His job is to sell war. The same way Jasmine Crockett, her job is to sound ghetto. It may be a Democrat appealing to black women, I guess. Her job is to be a fucking annoying hood rat that make me. Anyway, I don't want to.
I love her though, so I'm not going to say a bad thing about Jasmine.
She's glorious. She is such a mess. She is such a mess. But anyway, let's continue this.
Isn't at the table. You can't sign a peace agreement if Zelensky isn't there. And so there's not going to be any breakthrough. And my worry is that, well, the photo op in and of itself essentially legitimizes war crimes, telegraphs to other autocrats or evil men around the world that they can get away with murdering civilians and still get a photo op with the president of the United States. It could get worse because if there is no agreement, if Putin thumbs his nose at Trump, and then Trump does not follow through with more weapons for Ukraine or with any sanctions, then it's essentially the final green light to Putin that he is going to be able to persecute this war.
What's your solution? Let's put up.
I just want to hear his response to this question. I'll move on. I think he asked some solution. And it shows how incoherent his worldview is. I'll play one more part and I'll move on.
Things that the Europeans and the president agreed on and involve Ukraine in future discussions, establish ceasefire before peace talks, no discussion of land swaps, insist on security guarantees for Ukraine, and ramp up economic pressure on Russia if necessary.
Now, this is why I did my stream yesterday, because and you was on the same page as me. That's why I asked you that question earlier to see where you were coming from. Because to me, it seems like Trump was obviously going through a WWE style storyline. Yeah. I have friends who love professional wrestling. It's kind of fun to watch. I know it work when I see one. I grew up during the Attitude Era, motherfucker. I know a fake ass storyline when I see one. And to me, I've seen the setup from the very beginning, where Trump like, all right, let's have this meeting with Putin. And if Putin doesn't come with a peace agreement, there will be harsh consequences for Russia. That's what he said. He said, if Putin doesn't agree to our term, there'll be harsh consequences for Russia. Then, of course, here comes the EU. Here comes Zelensky. You can't meet with Putin without conceding to our demands. Then Trump meet with the EU. They come up with this list of demands. And then Trump says, we're going to have concessions from Putin. Why would Putin give you any of these delusional concessions? You guys see how Trump is setting this up to fail? So then when Putin said no to this kind of stuff, then Trump would turn around and say, hey, man, I try to be rational. I just wanted a little bit of security guarantees. You know, the day you started this war in the first place. Oh, we just wanted a little bit of NATO in Ukraine. Come on, why are you tripping? Why are you tripping? Like, this is the point, is to sell the war to MAGA. That's what was always my thesis. And when I saw these demands come out, to me, it was clear. I haven't seen the press conference, so it's going to be like, wow, to see what Putin's response to these talks are. But to me, my reaction has been, I don't understand why these talks are even happening. It seems like Trump is being played by Putin again. Because to me, this makes Russia, and it shows the world how the United States are not good faith actors.
They're not.
On the stage. Because obviously no one in the West, in the mainstream West, is going to accept my analysis or accept the Russia analysis. But once again, Putin is not appealing to Americans. He's appealing to the global majority. You think they're not watching this in China? You think they're not watching what's going on in India?
Exactly.
They're seeing these ridiculous fucking demands that are being laid out by Zelensky. And they're like, okay, the fuck? This nigga's not reasonable. Excuse my French, but Sarah, you have any reaction to these demands?
Exactly that. And I'm getting the vibe that the reason why the Russians participated in this at all and really went all out was because they knew the Americans were going to look foolish and poor. Yeah. And they do. We look broke, poor, we're stupid. Our journalists are screaming at Putin like ridiculous. We look horrible. And this is so, and you're so right to talk about the delusion, because this guy's saying like we're legitimizing Putin. No, we just delegitimized ourselves even further. And you were right to say, don't you think China's watching this? And even Japan, who is our historic ally, more like our historic benefactor, but still is probably like, oof, like, oh God, like what are these people doing? Like it just, the whole thing was shameful.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that right after this. I'm sorry.
Okay, this is what they agreed on, right? Everybody, our viewers, I want you to keep this in mind, this chart, when we go and talk about what they got.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to go in this order just for the people who haven't been following the whole time. I wanted to show you guys the liberal freak out. We're gonna get to the actual reporter questioning Putin. That will be next. I just want to see what his reaction to this question is. After this, we will move on to one more quick propaganda report. I had to be very selective in which one I'll show you, because I see some shit from Mark Levin that was crazy, bro. I was all over propaganda this morning. I was doing a lot of research for Hotspot as well. I'm like, bro, dude, I didn't know which one I want to pick. I'll pick this one because they had Sander and Morning Joe. I'm going to show you guys Michael Mifal, the former Russian ambassador, and one of the most batshit crazy Putin derangement center people in the world. If it was up to Michael Mifal, we would be in World War III right now. Like, he thought Joe Biden was too much of a pussy. That's how crazy Michael Mifal is. But let's play his response to this, and then we'll move on.
Agreed on and involve Ukraine in future discussions, establish ceasefire before peace talks, no discussion of land swaps, insist on security guarantees for Ukraine, and ramp up economic pressure on Russia if no agreement is reached. Let's look at those five. If those five European points are followed. And we understand that's a big if, so there's no need to even waste time talking about how that won't happen. But let's just, for argument's sake, let's say those 5 things happen. What is a just peace for Ukraine in your eyes? What does the final deal
Come on,
look
big
like?
brain. You got it.
Okay, but Joe, we realize that there's one really important point missing from that list that Trump wouldn't agree on, and that's additional weapons for Ukraine.
Okay.
How's additional weapons to Ukraine? Look, even Joe's like, what the fuck are you talking about? How is that going to change anything? We fucking sent the entirety of Europe's stockpiles. Germany and many European countries demilitarized themselves.
Literally.
So when you talk, how does more even more into like, bro, that's some amateur propaganda there, bro. Don't you know that we're the big stages, nigga? We're the fucking big stages, bro. You gotta do better propaganda than that. Let's see how I continue this out.
Trump wouldn't agree on, and that's additional weapons for Ukraine. If the United States is not willing to continue to supply Ukraine, then there's no way that there is any just peace.
Well, you know, again, we'll be talking about in the coming weeks and months about that, because actually they're saying that we will sell to Europe and then Europe will sell to Ukraine. I suspect there's going to be a shell game involved there. But but again, let's say I agree with you. 100%. The United States should continue supplying weapons because that's the only thing that will put pressure on Vladimir Putin.
I ended there. You guys see how the only job of these people is to sell weapons? Who funds more than Joe?
Chris Murphy. Chris Murphy's a weapons guy.
Exactly, Sarah. So their job. What is the solution to this complex geopolitical problem? Sell more weapons. That's the solution to everything. We have this complex issue between Israel and Gaza. What should we do? Sell weapons to Israel.
Yep, more
Send
weapons
to Taiwan. So we respect the one China policy, which is the foundation of diplomacy between the United States and China. No, send Taiwan weapons. Our job is to sell weapons. We are weapons salesmen manufacturing as statesmen. Like Joe Scarborough is a weapons salesman. I sell cars. I know a salesman when I see it. Mm-hmm. The same way I would sell a fucking Honda. That's what Joe Scarborough is doing, selling weapons. But anyway, let's move on. I'm down kind of belaboring the point here. One more point. It's only a 2-minute video, and I want you to help me debunk it. I had to be, as I mentioned before, I had to be very selective on who I choose because of time. And now I of course had to choose Michael McFaul. I saw you guys highlight this on DDG. Make sure you guys follow our friends at DDG. They're killing the game. So Michael McFaul, that almost threw me off. That's funny. So, shares his wisdom on how the talks between Trump and Putin might develop. And as you hear this guy think, remember, this guy was the ambassador to Russia, bro. The U.S. ambassador to Russia.
Well, first, to be prepared, he's been doing this for 25 years, right? He started with President Clinton, so he's had many, many meetings, a lot more experience at doing these kind of meetings than President Trump. Second, there's an asymmetry of knowledge and an asymmetry of interest. Ukraine, for him, is the most central foreign policy issue. I would say it's the most central issue of his presidency. That's not true for President Trump. He's got a lot of other things going on.
So the question you should ask yourself is, why should Americans care so much about this conflict instead of investing money back at home? So the question that I've been asking people like Ro Khanna and the people who support this proxy war is, why should Americans care about the territorial integrity of the Donbass region? Like, literally. Do you want your son to be drafted in war because you want Ukraine to be part of NATO? And the reason I'm making this point is because Michael McFaul and Neocons don't even realize the point they just made shows why their obsession over the Ukraine proxy war is absurd. He said, well, Trump, we don't really have that much at stake compared to Russia, because Russia has a lot at stake, because Ukraine, that same area, is the same area that Napoleon used to invade. That's how the Nazis used to invade. They have a historical trauma, and they have legitimate reasons to view Ukraine as a security concern. So of course Russia will be more invested because that's their sphere of influence. And any superpower, any legitimate country will be concerned about what's going on in their sphere of influence. Just like I told Ro Khanna, if there was a fucking formation of Nazis in Mexico that was murdering Americans. I'll be down with fucking stuffing them out too. I'm a fucking communist. We love killing Nazis. That's what we fucking do. Anyway, let's continue. Let's listen to Michael McFaul.
And third, he is very effective as a communicator. He knows his facts. He knows his version of history. He may go back 300 or 400 years, by the way, and talking to the president about to try to explain to him why Ukraine is really part of Russia, why Ukrainians are really just Russians with accents, and the mistakes that were made by other leaders that divided those countries. He's wrong about those facts.
This is why I want to show you guys this clip. You guys see how insane these people are? They are trying to separate the long-time historical ties between the Russian and Ukrainian people. And Michael McFaul said it's dangerous to talk to Putin because Putin knows all about the history. Like, he got this false version of history. As if you believe will you believe American and the Western propaganda infrastructure over Russian leaders when it comes to Russian history? So of course he knows the history of Russia. And if you know the history of Russia and Ukraine, you know they got long-standing generational ties. You want to know how I know this? Oh no, I got a friend called Zoya. Zoya is love. Zoya is life. Who was born in the Soviet Union in Odessa. Am I getting that right, Zoya?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Shit. Before this manufactured separation between Ukrainian and Russian in the Russian state, you had Ukrainian and Russian families that would cross the border and had extremely close ties. The same with the Donbass region, the same with Luhansk, where you have a large amount of ethnic Russians. They have family members that go back between the countries all the time. And I know it's because of my friend Zoya. So I don't want to belabor the point too much, but the point I'm making, you guys see how Michael McFaul is trying to separate, and the goal of the West is to separate the long-standing, important cultural ties between the Russian-Ukrainian people. There's a fighter in the UFC. I don't know if he fights anymore. I'm a fucking old head. His name was Nikita Krivlov. He was a Ukrainian fighter, and he refused to fly the Ukrainian flag after the Ukrainian military operation. And I remember at the time, there were people in the MMA media apparatus, because this is my MMA world, right? People were like, why is Nikita Krivlov Ukrainian, but he flying the Russian flag? Because he's one of those ethnic Russian Ukrainians I'm talking about, the people who voted for the referendum to leave the fascist Ukrainian state. All right, I need to shut up. I'm sounding like Putin now, going to the fucking history lesson. The point is, they want to erase the fact that the fascist Ukrainian government was shelling the Donbass, was implementing fascism to suppress the Russian ethnic people. Sorry, Sarah, I thought you nine all the time. I'm fucking.
No, I know. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I'm gonna continue the clip because I want to get to this last. I'll play the last part in full, and then we get to the press conference. I just want to highlight how they always do this disgusting historical revisionism.
I want to be clear about that. It's his own history, but he can be persuasive in talking about them, and that makes.
Oh, he can be persuasive about talking about his history? Maybe because it's his fucking history. He's upset that he's not allowed to rewrite the history of a people he hates.
A very difficult, I would say, a challenging interlocutor. His first meeting when he was prime minister in 2009 with President Obama, I was there. He went for 58 minutes without an interruption. And I remember it because I was the note taker and I had to record when the president of...
Dude, this psychopath was... I think he's Obama, the Russian ambassador. He was taking notes. This is the guy that Obama allowed to get close and make all-star Russia. This batshit crazy neocon.
The United States finally spoke. He's got a lot to say. He likes to talk in historical terms. He has a big grievance thing, a big chip on his shoulder. All the mistakes that the West made that made them worse off. And he will also be very persistent. He won't give and take. He has no reason to in any way acquiesce to any of Trump's demands in this meeting. He's already won by the fact that he's meeting with the most powerful person in the world in the United States of America. That is already a victory for him. And therefore, I think he'll be in this meeting tragically in a very tough negotiating position.
One thing that's funny to me when I enter the clip is, you know how Michael McFaul, like, man, Putin, he has this amazing graph of history, and he can talk forever about these conflicts and issues. He can talk about these issues for hours on end. You want to know who else can talk about issues for hours on end? Yours truly. Right. I do it every fucking day. You guys see how he paints it as some amazing achievement? Because you want to know who can't do that?
He can't.
Kamala Harris. Joe Biden. Imagine Kamala Harris having a conversation about the history of imperialism and how the history of United States wars impacts her current view on foreign policy. Do you guys think Kamala Harris can do this? Imagine Nancy Pelosi having a sit down about the Donbass region and why the United States should be so. They cannot do this. The United States leaders, the difference between an American leader and Putin is as wide as the ocean is. Like Biden can't even hold a sentence. We got Sarah Palin's. That was Zoya's thing. We got Sarah Palin's. We have the absolute dumbest politicians who are just like people like Jamal Bowman. Keep picking on him. He didn't even know what the Donbass was. He didn't know what the Crimea was. But so when these people see Russia and Putin, someone who's actually an intellectual who knows his history,
he's a threat.
He's a threat. He's dangerous. All right, I've been hyping this up too much. Let's get to it now. This is we got a lot of shit on this. We're gonna get to the press conference. I want to show you guys how some of the insane Western media was reacting to Putin. Putin is hilarious. I told you guys that Putin is a troll as well. A lot of people fucking forget about that. So he was making all these funny faces because he saw these reporters screaming questions at him. Here's one of the clip. He's like, dude, what is this? They find very funny video. This
not killing any more civilians.
Come on, guys.
Mr. President Putin, why should President Trump trust your word now?
So ridiculous. Why should President Putin trust him?
These people are children.
We thought Thank you, Brad. Thank you, Brad. Thank you, Brad.
Here's another one. Hotspot was posting, our friends Hotspot, they've been on this. This is our immature Western journalists their understanding of this conflict is worse than Michael McFaul. You guys understand how intellectually stunted the Washington press corps is on this issue? Listen to these motherfuckers. Let me go back. It was hard to hear. She said, Mr. Putin, it was hard to hear. I don't know if you guys heard it. She said, Mr. Putin, did you underestimate Ukraine? Are you a child? You guys see this childlike understanding of global? You think she's one of the people that think Ukraine is pulling the upset.
Yeah.
She might think Ukraine
comments under the post. I posted something and a bunch of Russians were like, why are they yelling at him? We don't act like this. Like, what's going on?
Putin looked legitimately shocked, and Putin is a funny guy, so he was making all these funny faces. Because his mindset was like, bro, what is it? Is this shit normal?
Yes.
In United States culture?
Yes, they were screaming at him when they were seated in the room, and he was like, what is wrong with these people? It's bizarre. It's very bizarre.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can find that clip as well. But here, let me continue this, because this is when they asked that ridiculous question. President Putin, will you stop killing civilians?
Imagine asking that.
How can the U.S. trust your word?
Yeah, get out of here.
Do we just have Benjamin Netanyahu in the White House? Just have Benjamin Netanyahu. We have war criminals from the Likud delegation visit the United States all the time. Word is questions to them. You guys see how, and this is what I realized very, very quickly. The people who are actually considered esteemed journalists in the West are people who are just government propagandists. Like, this is why Mediaite ranked RBN the most far left, most unreliable network, because we don't repeat government propaganda. And that's essentially what it is. I saw you posted this. This is from the press conference. Why should President Trump, they keep trying to get this, and this is actually pretty smart, to be honest, from the report, because this person's going to write a book about this forever. How I called out and confronted Putin. How I'm an enemy of Russia forever. Like, bro, whoever shouted these questions is going to make some bank.
Yep.
Guys, thank you, President. Thank you, President.
Why is your President Trump trust your word now?
Thank you, President. 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 Everybody get out of the room.
It's embarrassing.
Thank you, President.
This is
So
insane.
Putin witnessing this entire stuff, he's just trolling. And we like a lot of people don't know. Like whenever you read transcripts of Putin, and I wish I spoke Russian because someone explained this. Like if you speak his language, you understand how Putin is actually extremely sarcastic.
He is very sarcastic.
Actually, I think Zoya was playing. Wasn't you, Zoya? Like if you know Russian, you understand. Like it's hard to understand just with subtitles and with someone translating. But Putin is a naturally fucking funny guy. Like that's why everyone to me like, why is Putin doing this? Is what he does. There's a reason why, and it doesn't matter if you agree with it or not. But there's a reason why Putin is extremely loved in Russia. Not only is he extremely smart grasp of history, applying social democracy and democratic socialism in his economics. He actually got a social safety net. So not only that, you smart. Yeah, it was Zoya. I know Zoya loves Zoya's life. I know I'm not tripping. But he's actually very smart, very charismatic. He actually a good politician. We got to deal with people like Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, Hakeem Jeffries. These are the people who are considered great statesmen in the United States. Putin runs laps around him. Because not only is he no history, he a great strategist. He's just an entertaining guy. Like this is to me kind of fucking funny. Here, let me play this clip.
Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Let's go. Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Let's go. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Let's go. Let's go.
Hold on, I guess I'm easily entertained, but I thought that was fucking funny. I thought that was hilarious. I'm gonna get to the press conference here, but it's just a fact. Even if you don't like Putin, whatever, it's a fact that before Putin took power, Russia was a pathetic post-Soviet state. So I don't mean say it so harshly, but their economy was in shambles. Their life expectancy dropped tremendously. Depression skyrocketed. Alcohol use skyrocketed. And meanwhile, people in the West were celebrating because they're like, don't you know that Russia has a McDonald's now? I still remember hearing that growing up. Russia got a McDonald's now, guys, even though poverty
saved.
And then Putin came in office. And the facts of the matter is, facts over your feelings, guys. He took a pathetic post-Soviet state, and now they're a legitimate global superpower leading BRICS side by side with another superpower, which is definitely a tier above Russia. But Russia's status on the global stage and the improvement of the Russian working class has been tremendous under Vladimir Putin. And that is just a fact. That's a fact that social democrats they despise whenever you mention it. Like the old heads, the Dr. Cornel West, the Bernie Sanders left who hates Russia. They despise when you bring up this fact. It's just a fact that this is why. I'm not talking over Russian people. I am explaining to you guys why Putin has an 80% approval rating. You know what I mean? When people just assume that Russians are dummies. Oh, the Chinese and Russians, they're just dummies. They just support the politicians uncritically. No, they support them for a reason. We have no reason to support our politicians. Where Congress has a 13% approval rating. And we are so abused and broken as a people, we can't even imagine having good statespeople. We can't even imagine having good politicians. So we see other countries have good politicians, and we assume they're brainwashed. And Putin is not as far left as I want. He's not a fucking communist. But he's providing for his people. And if the Russian people support him, why should I undermine him? To me, that's the typical American imperialist bullshit that many people in the left fall for. Isn't it imperialist for me to think my opinion matters more than the 80% of the Russian people who support him? Isn't it imperialist to think your opinion matters more than the 80% of the Chinese people who support Xi Jinping? You guys see how that's an imperialist mindset that I abandoned once I decolonized my mind? Sorry for the rant. Sarah, anything you want to add? Let's actually get to the press conference. We will end the episode on this. I don't know how long the press conference went exactly, But I haven't seen a lick of this. I've seen maybe like the first minute or two. And I'll like pause back. We're gonna play this live on stream. So Sarah, I know I'm ranting a lot.
It's short. No, you're fine. It's short, so don't worry about it. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, bet. All right, let's dive right into it. Sarah, if you want to interrupt it with anything, just feel free. I haven't seen any of this, and we're going through this live together, guys. So let's get right to it.
Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, our negotiations have been held in a constructive atmosphere of mutual respect. We had very thorough negotiations that were quite useful. I would like to thank once again my American counterpart for the proposal to travel out here to Alaska. It only makes sense that we've met here because our countries, though separated by the oceans, are close neighbors. So when we've met, when I came out of the plane and I said, "Good afternoon, dear neighbor. Very good to see you. In good health, alive." I think that is very neighborly. And I think that's some kind words that we can say to each other. We're separated by the Strait of Bering, though there are 2 islands only between the Russian island and the U.S. island. They're only 4 kilometers apart. We're close neighbors, and it's a fact. It's also important that Alaska has to do with our common heritage, common history between Russia and the U.S., and many positive events have to do with that territory. Still, there is tremendous cultural heritage back from the Russian America. For example, Orthodox churches and a lot of more than 700 geographical names of Russian origin. During the Second World War, it was here in Alaska that was the origin of the legendary air bridge for the supply of military aircraft and other equipment under the Land-Lease program. It was a dangerous and treacherous route over the vast emptiness of ice. However, the pilots of both countries did everything to bring closer the victory. They risked their lives and they gave it all for the common victory. I was just in the city of Magadan in Russia, and there is a memorial there dedicated to the Russian and the U.S. pilots. And there are 2 flags, the U.S. flag and the Russian flag. And I know that here as well, there is such a memorial. There is a military burial place several kilometers away from here. The Soviet pilots that buried there who died during that dangerous mission. We're thankful to the citizens and the government of the U.S. for carefully taking care of their memory. I think that's very worthy and noble. We'll always remember other historical examples when our countries defeated common enemies together in the spirit of battle camaraderie and allyship that supported each other.
I had to pause here because that's something that Putin says all the time, which is always an appeal to the West, and actually very humble. And this is what I said in the beginning of the stream, so I can't be mad at it because I can't be a hypocrite. Remember, I said I want a world where the Russian working class is working with the American working class, where you won't be stopped at the FBI because you visited Moscow. That's the world I want, and that's what Putin is describing here. Putin is like, I want to go back to the time, you know how we defeated a common enemy, the Nazis. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Now you fucking propping them up.
Yeah.
And once again, this is Putin actually being pretty humble. This is him being nice to the West because it wasn't the fucking West who defeated the Nazis. Over 80% of dead Nazis came from the Red Army. Repeat after me. For people like Trump says, Trump and MAGA history. That they're like, oh, you can't say that. That's critical race theory. We gotta get rid of that woke agenda in the school. This is what they're teaching. Ron DeSantis, this is what they teaching kids in Florida right now, that the United States is one to defeat the Nazis. And that's what these little white boys, they're gonna grow up believing this shit. You see these right-wing Gen Z kids, you already see they're cooked. Their version of history completely different than the one we was taught. You know what I mean? So the idea that the United States and Europe defeated Nazis, untrue. 80% of the casualties came from the Red Army. It is a communist victory. But Russia supported wanting friendly relationship with the West. You see Putin, he says this all the time. Hey, man, let's go back in the era where we defeated Nazis. Let's defeat fascism together. The same with Xi Jinping. Well, Xi Jinping is like, hey, man, I just want you guys to buy my stuff. I just want to sell you my products. Can we get along? And meanwhile, white America hate his gut for it. Anyway, let's continue. Sarah, do you have any comment, any thoughts going ahead before I move on?
No, I'm loving this.
All right, let's move. Let's continue.
I'm sure that this heritage will help us rebuild and foster mutually beneficial and equal ties at this new stage, even during the hardest conditions. It is known that there have been no summits between Russia and the US for 4 years, and that's a long time. This time was very hard for bilateral relations, and let's be frank, they've fallen to the lowest point since the Cold War. I think that's not benefiting our countries and the world as a whole. It is apparent that sooner or later we had to amend the situation to move on from the confrontation to dialogue. And in this case, a personal meeting between the heads of state has been long overdue. Naturally, under the condition of serious and painstaking work, this work has been done in general. Me and President Trump have very good direct contact. We've spoken multiple times. We spoke frankly on the phone. And special envoy of the president, Mr. Witkoff, traveled out to Russia several times. Our advisors and heads of foreign ministries kept in touch all the time. And you know fully well that one of the central issues was the situation around Ukraine. We see the strive of the administration and President Trump personally to help facilitate the resolution of the Ukrainian conflict. And his strive to get to the crux of the matter, to understand its history, is precious. As I've said, the situation in Ukraine has to do with fundamental threats to our security. Moreover, we've always considered the Ukrainian nation, and I've said it multiple times, a brotherly nation, however strange it may sound in these conditions. We have the same root.
And this is what Putin has always said, despite what Western media will have you believe. It's about saving Ukraine from their Banderite fascist regime that was murdering ethnic Russians. You know where the Peace Corps gave warnings to black people who was volunteering to Ukraine that you may be called the N-word or monkeys in Ukraine because they became a country overran by fascists and Nazis who banned collective bargaining, labor rights, opposition parties. In Luhansk and the Donbass region, they was begging Russia to liberate them from their Banderite government who teamed with the CIA. Now you have John McCain who openly bragged and was cheering on Ukrainians, the Banderite Ukrainians during the Maidan coup. He said, "Don't stop. The United States is behind you." I know I have that, but I'm gonna finish the press now. I'm gonna show you guys that. I had to find that clip because the NATO left, the people who support the Ukraine war, they will say stuff like, "Well, that's a conspiracy theory that the United States and the CIA helped Nazis overthrow their government." Meanwhile, you literally have clips of John McCain leading rallies. He was leading war rallies, telling them to take the capital, to murder anyone who's pro-Russia. This is what John McCain was saying, and we have him on footage. Despite the fact that we have John McCain on footage of him saying this, people still say it's a conspiracy theory. Anyway, let me continue the press conference. I gotta find that shit.
And everything that's happening is a tragedy for us and terrible wound. Therefore, the country is sincerely interested in putting an end to it. At the same time, we're convinced that in order to make the settlement lasting and long-term, we need to eliminate all the primary roots, the primary causes of that conflict. And we've said it multiple times, to consider all legitimate concerns of Russia and to reinstate a just balance of security in Europe and in the world on the whole. And I agree with President Trump, as he has said today, that naturally the security of Ukraine should be ensured as well. Naturally, we're prepared to work on that.
Anything what Putin is saying is unreasonable. I mentioned many times before, they don't show you guys Putin speaking because he's actually very reasonable in his speech. Let's look at the root cause of this crisis, and then I told you guys we had to research. Let me pull it up because I just mentioned this now. You guys know I can back up everything I'm showing here. Look, this is for all the people like Bernie Sanders and all the people like Ro Khanna who believe it's a conspiracy theory. Here, John McCain incites rioters to overthrow the government in Ukraine in 2013. America is with you. I am with you. He addressed the mob of Ukrainian rioters in Kyiv. And you also have footage of John McCain. I think this video is having a hard time loading, but this is pretty much describing what we are seeing here. There's footage of John McCain literally with people with Nazi insignia armbands. We highlighted it early on during the war. Meanwhile, the entirety of the West don't even know how to diagnose this problem. You have people that say this war started when Russia invaded. No, this was when the United States overthrew the sovereign, democratically elected Ukrainian government because they were too pro-Russian. Before I get back to the clip, I just want to show you guys everything. I just want to show you guys I wasn't making that shit up. Unfortunately, I don't know why this video is having a hard time buffering. Yeah, I don't know why. But anyway, Hotspot summed up what he said here. Everyone knows what John McCain did. I just want to show you guys the receipt. Let's get back to it. I believe Putin has been 100% reasonable. I always believe he was reasonable. I appreciate you, Zoya. Zoya's love, Zoya's life. But let's continue the clip. Let's continue this press conference. Sarah, feel free to interrupt anytime if you have anything you want to add.
To hope that the agreement that we've reached together will help us bring closer that goal and will pave the path towards peace in Ukraine. We expect that Kiev and European capitals will perceive that constructively and that they won't throw a wrench in the works. They will not make any attempts to use some backroom dealings to conduct provocations to torpedo the nascent progress. Incidentally, when the new administration came to power, bilateral trade started to grow. It's still very symbolic. Still, we have a growth of 20%. As I've said, we have a lot of dimensions for joint work. It is clear that U.S. and Russian investment and business cooperation has tremendous potential. Russia and the U.S. can offer each other so much in trade, digital, high-tech, and in space exploration.
And why wouldn't anyone want this? Like, I think this is kind of fantasy. Because I explained before, I think Trump is saying it's up to fail. Because I think this is fantasy talk. But why would anyone not want this? I am called a traitor all the time by these neocons. I'm blacklisted. People see my hotspot videos about Ukraine and Russia. We're like, we've never had this motherfucker on. I explained to you guys before, Bree, she literally she told me, she hit up Piers Morgan and was like, hey man, I know this young, smart commentator that's on the far left that will be on the show. He was like, hell no. Like, because they view me as a traitor. When I have the most patriotic position. I want to have these deals that I think, what they're saying now is delusional. It's not going to happen. You know what I mean? But wouldn't it benefit all of humanity instead of U.S. sanctioning Russia, instead of the United States spending trillions of dollars on military budgets instead of investing in the working class because they worry about Russia? Wouldn't it be better for us to cooperate as a society? That common sense statement is considered the radical position in our country. I feel like being a leftist in the United States is like being gaslit. It feels like I'm in a mental asylum where common sense ideas like that is considered radical or extreme. But let's continue.
We see that Arctic cooperation is also very possible. And our international context, for example, between the Far East of Russia and the West Coast of the U.S. Overall, it's very important for our countries to turn the page, to go back to cooperation. It is symbolic that not far away from here, the border between Russia and the U.S., there is a so-called international date line. I think you can step over literally from yesterday into tomorrow. And I hope that we'll succeed in that, in political sphere. I would like to thank President Trump for our joint work, for the well-wishing and trustworthy tone of our conversation. It's important that both sides are result-oriented, and we see that the President of the U.S. has a very clear idea of what he would like to achieve. He sincerely cares about the prosperity of his nation. Still, he understands that Russia has its own national interests. I expect that today's agreements will be the starting point, not only for the solution of the Ukrainian issue, but also will help us bring back business-like and pragmatic relations between Russia and the U.S. And in the end, I would like to add one more thing. I'd like to remind you that in 2022, during the last contact with the previous administration, I tried to convince my previous American colleague that the situation should not be brought to the point of no return when it.
This is very consistent with what we've been reporting, right, Sarah?
Yeah.
Where Putin, in the very beginning of the conflict, never wanted this shit to blow up like this. It was Boris Johnson that killed the peace deal. A fact of history that they still deny to this day. I brought it to Rokana to his face. He couldn't acknowledge. It's the fact that they can't acknowledge because it blows up their entire narrative. I had a great personal moment because you guys know I've been posting hotspot videos. I'll talk about my personal life a lot, but I've been posting on my Instagram. I'm trying to grow my Instagram. I'm very bad at social media. I'm trying to learn, right? So my Instagram videos go on my Facebook page. That's how it is. So it's a very rare look for people in my personal life to see my content. I remember my brother hit me up. He was like, bro, what? I didn't know Putin wanted peace in 2022, sorry. I didn't know Putin wanted peace early on in the war. It's a fact that they hide to you because it devastates your argument. Because so Putin was forced by the West and their provocations and their pitches for Ukraine to join NATO. So Putin was like, all right, let's fucking scare the fucking shit out of them. Let's do this invasion, and then let's go to the negotiation table. And they immediately killed it. And the Biden administration, every step of the way, was fighting and resisting peace. You have Anthony Blinken that was saying that anyone who was advocating for talking with Russia and spreading Russian propaganda and benefiting the Russian state. And then when Trump took office, I think it was Sergei Lavrov, he said, yeah, we're shocked because the United States under the entirety of Joe Biden's administration never once even reached out to us. So anyway, this is Putin pretty much explaining how he always wanted this peace, and the idea that he started this war. And this is another reason why it's important to bring this up, and they never do, because he wanted to invade Europe. It's absurd. That's what they said. We gotta continue this war with Russia and Ukraine because if we don't, he's going to continue the war and invade Europe. So when you actually hear Putin talking, and he explained how he want peace deals and how he simply want a neutral Ukraine, you guys see how that talking point, how Putin is going to invade Europe next, sounds ridiculous, but it is repeated as fact. You have people ask Trump that all the time in the European media. Do you think that Putin will stop in Ukraine? Do you think Putin will stop in Ukraine? Sarah, anything you want to add before I move on?
I do. I think we should push through this because the reactions from the media are coming in. I sent some to your inbox
sure. If you want to share anything, feel free.
I'm terrible with like screen sharing and stuff like that. So I
got you. Just send anything to me. I saw a few clips. We're gonna go do some reactions. Do you think we should play a little bit more of this?
I think we could leave it because just kind of go on for a little bit, and let me give you the synopsis really fast. Hold on, my whole Twitter crashed because Elon is not working at Doge anymore and doesn't fix his own app. So they said that I do know that the Russians went in there with the intention, their first step towards, and I said this before earlier in the stream, that their intention was to get the flights back open and to start thawing diplomatic relations. One of the members of the Russian delegation also affirmed this afterwards. They even brought documents with them to reestablish flights. Those documents were rebuffed by the Americans. Apparently, Trump left abruptly. He canceled the lunch that they were supposed to have together and said he had to return to the White House immediately for a pressing issue. Immediately following this, he started trashing Xi, which was interesting. Now the media is reacting. Sky News said Trump was humiliated, and now Fox News, which I take Sky News with a grain of salt, obviously they're shit libs, but Fox News said that Putin steamrolled Trump.
Let's go.
I sent those clips to Zoya on Twitter. I don't know what's really going on.
Zoya, can you post on those clips in the private chat? I see this meltdown. You want to see this since we're going over some posts?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
John Bolton is having a fucking meltdown on CNN right now. Look, Trump. And to your point, his culprit, Trump did not lose, but Putin clearly won. So yeah, Donald Trump got steamrolled. So for all the people, they was like, why won't Donald Trump treat Putin the same way he treats Zelensky? I was like, he couldn't. There's no reality where Trump could ever son Putin the way he son Zelensky, because Putin would intellectually smoke that child, Donald Trump. So I'm gonna go through. I'll give you guys some time to send me some receipts. I'm interested personally to see this cope. But CNN posted this 7 minutes ago. So I just found this. I haven't seen a bit of it. I just have to watch this because CNN was so quick to post this. Obviously, they called their boy John Bolton in, and John Bolton, I can only imagine the fucking tears coming from this guy. So let's see.
How it must have felt in the room versus seeing it on television. It was interesting to see that split screen of President Trump sort of trying to say things that maybe a regular leader other leader might laugh at or smile at, and Vladimir Putin was just dead-eyed looking at him, not responding in any way. Ambassador Bolton, you've been obviously, you were in.
Hey man, I watched enough rap battles to know what that means. That boy Trump got cooked.
Got cooked.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna have a blast watching this throughout the weekend, man. You guys know I'm a fucking nerd, bro. The cope, this motherfucker got cooked, and I can tell immediately from the way that CNN covered. I'm looking at headlines. I gotta go to Fox. I gotta see what Fox News is saying about this. But let me continue. Sorry,
responding in any way. Ambassador Bolton, you've been obviously, you were in Helsinki. You were the national security advisor. What do you make of what you saw from the president?
I think Trump did not lose.
Cope.
But Putin clearly won.
Bro, you know what that means? That means Putin dominated to a level we never thought possible. If John Bolton says that, bro, if Putin barely won, they will say, oh, it was a night. Bolton probably say it was a draw. If Bolton says that Trump didn't lose, but Putin won, you know that Putin waxed that ass. If Bolton is, that's how I translate that. But let's continue.
Trump didn't come away with anything except more meetings.
So how did he not lose then?
True. That's true.
He said Trump. I'll play this whole statement again. But he said Trump did not lose. How did he not lose? I see this comment. This is a great point. How did he not lose then? This is cope. Tell the truth, bro. Trump got washed. And it makes sense because Putin was, the little bit I saw the press conference, Putin went really, really fucking strong. And this is why, we was asking ourselves, why did Putin and Russia was doing this, and we had our theories. This is another reason why. This is what we mentioned. It gives Russia this grand stage where the West is usually shielded off from this information. It gives them a chance to speak to Americans who never hear his perspective. That's why you see the Neocon class in shambles. Sorry, there's 1,000 thoughts going in my head. This is a pretty big moment, man.
It's not looking good. Even more.
Oh, sorry, sir. Go ahead. Go ahead, sir.
Even more Western media is pouring in saying the same thing. I mean, again, it's Western media, so I'll take it with a grain of salt and wait for more minutes. But they're saying that he literally walked in, told Trump what he wanted, and Trump had really not much to say.
Big alpha energy. He sat down and was like, hey, Trump, listen to me, bro. I know you think you got the cards here, bro.
Yeah.
You sit down, son, and you're going to listen to what I got to say. That is mad alpha energy. I knew that Putin was going to dominate this meeting, but man, I don't think Trump is going to recover if all the stories I'm seeing. I'm looking at the headlines now. I'm going to find some receipts for you guys. I saw Zoya is working hard. I appreciate you, my friend. Post some more in the private chat. Whatever you got, just post it in the private chat on StreamYard, and I'll pull it up. I appreciate you, Zoya. Let's continue here. I'm greatly enjoying the quote from John Bolton. We're only 20 seconds in, though. I need to shut the fuck up.
Responding in any way. Ambassador Bolton, you've been obviously, you were in Helsinki. You were the national security advisor. What do you make of what you saw from the president?
I think Trump did not lose, but Putin clearly won. Trump didn't come away with anything except more meetings. Putin has, I think, gone a long way to reestablishing the relationship, which I've always believed was his key goal. He has escaped sanctions. He's not facing a ceasefire. The next meeting is not set. Zelensky was not told any of this before this press conference. It's far from over, but I'd say Putin achieved most of what he wanted. Trump achieved very little. And I will say one other thing. I thought Trump looked very tired up there. I mean, very tired, not disappointed, tired. And we'll have to reflect on that.
That's a very catty comment, by That's a very catty comment.
He's a very catty man. He's always like that. He's
Bro, Trump is 82. He always looks tired to me, man. To me, that's a very catty comment from John Bolton. That's just a little snib. But let's continue.
That means
Vladimir Putin said, I believe, we've turned the page.
No, let me know how you doing on time. I'm having fun now.
Oh, I'm fine. It's Friday. I'm good.
Yeah, cool. All right, bet. This is gonna be a fun Friday chill stream now.
Referring to Ukraine, but more to, do you know what to refer to, or what was your sense?
I think he meant the U.S.-Russia relationship, but what he really means is the Vlad-Donald relationship.
That's what makes this so extraordinary, though. He said we've turned the page back to cooperation. He mentioned he was hopeful there would be space cooperation between the United States and Russia. He mentioned maybe in the Arctic there would be cooperation. He said, yes, Ukraine deserves security guarantees, but we know what Putin believes, how he would secure Ukraine. He has a very difference of opinion. And he talked about how they have such a fantastic relationship and turn the page. The American president could have said, maybe we will turn the page. Maybe we can do all those things, but first, you have to end this war. And he didn't. He, in fact, said the relationship was fantastic. So he went for a ceasefire. He leaves with nothing. Putin got a flyover, a red carpet, a lot of handshakes, and a lot of great state TV coverage.
Do you see why they did this now?
Yes.
All the leverage, all the cards. You don't even got to come to Moscow. We already told you what we wanted. That this is it. We are going to come out there. We're going to wear USSR shirts. We're going to tell you about how Alaska used to be a part of Russia. We're going to tell you exactly what we want, and that the first step to that is you're going to give us direct flights again, and you're going to give us our assets. The fact that you stole, and that's it. I think he really did get steamrolled a bit here.
Based on what I've seen. That's why I was like, this obviously give Putin a great chance in to lay out his vision, and he pretty much went to Alaska and sunned Trump, and that's why I'm having a great time watching CNN. And this is the Fox News. I'm gonna go back to this clip, but here's Fox News, like not even just CNN. The cope coming from the establishment. I'm looking at a lot of the reactions now.
It was just very.
This was a huge blunder by Trump because I don't know what he expected. But Putin dog walked his ass. Like he realized that Putin is not as Zelensky.
You said it yourself. You said, imagine Kamala Harris or Nancy Pelosi talking about Western imperialism in a serious manner. Could you imagine how what is the intellectual match here? Exactly. Like, could you imagine Putin was probably like, I'm insulted that I even have to speak to this person. Putin is an incredibly well-educated, published writer. Like, he has a PhD. Like, he's written dissertations. Like, we're not talking about a dumb person here.
This man Putin was like, bro, I'm about to walk into Alaska and I'm about to wash your boy. You hold up. You guys elected the host of The Apprentice as the president of the United States. You think he's gonna fucking hold him? Hold him
at it just like Zelensky. They point out every time. Ask Zoya. They pointed out all the time that Zelensky's a former actor, and they think Trump is just like him. So you think they have any respect for Trump? Come on now.
Remember, they don't have respect for MAGA at all. It was Putin who called out Tucker Carlson for being a CIA agent through his face. Like Putin, they view the entire MAGA movement as fraudulent and fake. Even someone you would think is more on their side in the West, Tucker Carlson. He even viewed Tucker as a joke to make your point. But I'm curious to see this Fox News clip, and I'm going to go back to Bowen. Here's Fox News.
Sarah, the way that it felt in the room.
I'm sorry. Let me play this.
Which is very unusual. It did not stand. I think we're all awaiting, the readout, because the way that it felt in the room was not good. It did not seem like things went well, and it seemed like Putin came in and steamrolled, got right into what he wanted to say, and got his. It was just.
Bro, we need to change this title, Zoe. We need to change this to Donald Trump got cooked.
Yeah. And I didn't think it was going to go like this. I thought it would be very mutual, businessman to businessman. They are both businessmen, and all media is saying that. And like people in the comments and even in my replies are saying, oh, so I guess you trust CNN now. Okay, but I've got CNN, the New York Times, Sky News,
low
Fox
IQ.
News, like who else? Like I don't. It's like it seems like a consensus here. I don't know.
I saw that comment to whoever said it's low IQ. It's not about trusting them. We're analyzing their position. Like we're not watching this. Like, oh, let's get there. Let's see what we should think. No, we explain our position now. We are trying to see what the Western neocon establishment like. That's such a fucking stupid comment to say. Like we're not. It's not about trusting CNN. It's about seeing what our enemies are saying. Dipshit. The fact that some people don't understand that, and the same people are like, "Why are we going on Jake's Shield podcast?" I don't know, to sell my fucking ideas. The idea that you guys can't even understand these concepts. There's some people who are just so low IQ, they're not even worth addressing. That's one of the people. Like, it's not about trusting CNN. It's about seeing what our enemies are saying. You know what I mean? So let's go back to that. That's Fox News saying he's getting. I want to see what. I need to see. I'm actually curious to see what Fox News says about this. I see. Dude, they're not uploading many videos, bro. I think they're fucking coping right now. I'm actually very curious what the right wing got to say about this. But let's watch one more clip of this, and then we move on.
I think it's even deeper. He got out of diplomatic penalty box. 3 minutes are up. Yeah, Putin did. He's got the ability, the fourth threat of sanctions not issued. I think that's why he came here, was to avoid sanctions again and keep the economy, while it's rickety, afloat. And he's allowed and permitted to keep the war with no political consequences back home on that. So I actually think,
bro, these neocon tears are about to sustain me all weekend. I'm telling you right now.
And it's,
dude, honestly, I'm gonna say this right now. Honestly, the liberal media that I was roasting in the beginning, I'm gonna say right now, I admit that they was kind of right. Remember the liberal media that was warning against Trump for taking this? I'll admit, I think they was right now.
Yeah,
they was, hey Trump, dumbass, don't do this. Putin is gonna cook you, you idiot.
He did.
We know that they don't want peace, but I think I missed that part too. They were warning Trump.
Look at these people who their counterparts are. You put Lavrov with Rubio? Like these people are like legitimate statesmen and diplomats. Wow.
Marco Rubio, another actor. All right, let's continue this. I'm having a great time seeing neocon code. This is me being nerd. This is me kind of nerding out right now because they're like, look at their body language when they're so defeated because they know that millions of Americans have seen this. You know the propaganda war they've been fighting, this giant propaganda shield they put up over Americans so they don't know the truth about Ukraine, what's going on, shattered. Anyway, let's continue.
I understand that you said Trump didn't lose. I actually think Putin came out of here more significant a winner because he has no sanctions, no economic or political isolation, and he keeps the war going for what he wants. And I sit here, we watch this, we've been waiting. I think I know less today than I did when this started.
Jill Doherty, former Moscow bureau chief. I mean, you've read Russian tea leaves for many decades.
Yeah, well, I mean, he hasn't changed his position. I mean, he is talking about root causes. Yeah. And he even, if I understood that part correctly, seems to be saying that President Trump.
Y'all good? All right. I think. Sorry, my fucking system just crashed. I think I'm good, right? You guys can hear anything?
Yeah, you're good.
Dude, that was weird. Sorry, I'm fucking ghetto as hell over here. Let's continue.
He is talking about root causes, and he even, if I understood that part correctly, seems to be saying that President Trump is trying to get to the crux of the issues as well. It almost sounded as if, maybe this is too much, but they had convinced Trump of these root causes. And as we know, root causes are NATO,
in his view, those are the root causes.
Yes. So
NATO it's extraordinary.
Not
that weren't the case. In terms of talking to your audience at home.
Oh, that David fucking
if that's the implication that they read into it, and it's an affirmation of his position, that's good. The thing that was interesting to see is just how artful Putin was at tickling Trump's funny bones. He took a shot at Biden.
You're a fucking nerd, dude.
Like, what does this mean?
What a fucking nerd. On that note, I'm gonna see. I clicked this out of curiosity.
All right, so let's go to these ones.
I wanted to see what Fox News said.
Why do they agree with CNN too? I'm not understanding. But go ahead.
Yeah, fuck these CNN nerds, bro. That made me rage quit. I can't do it, bro. David Axelrod. So let's see what the right wing had to say. This is the latest clip I've seen from Fox. So once again, we're going live here. Let's react to it.
Room on the ground where the press conference just took place at
This is where the clip came from. So, all right, good. So this is a good clip to watch. Let's watch the video. This is where your clip came from.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the same reporter at least.
Yeah.
If you find anything else, Sarah, Zoya, just let me know. Maybe we'll do another 15, 20 minutes of this or so. We wrap up. Let me know if you have anything else you want to share. I also want to look at some breaking come from X. Hotspot has been on this all day. I want to see what they've been posting. DDG's been on this all day, so I want to see some more updates. So that's what we're going to do for the next 15 or 20 minutes. So let's watch this clip.
Jackie, I was surprised no questions. I was surprised no details on what progress was made.
I really wish there was questions.
I think you and me both, Brian, and everyone else in this room was also surprised. We were told that we were going to have an opportunity to put questions to both leaders after a joint press conference in the event that.
No, can you? We was robbed by the Trump administration. Can you imagine Donald Trump being cooked by Russian reporters and Putin cooking American reporters at the same time? Because you already know, you've seen Putin's conversation with Tucker Carlson. You're going to have one of these dumbass Rachel Maddow liberal reporters say some stuff like, why do you invade Ukraine? And then Putin's going to cook them. Then you're going to have Russian reporters cook Trump. Why do you fund this conflict in the first place in your first term? Man, we was robbed, bro. Anyway, let's continue.
Meeting went well enough that they could set the stage for a second meeting. And the President Trump said if that didn't happen, he was likely to call off the joint presser and just address the media solo and then send Putin home. Neither of those things happened. And what was really stunning to me as someone who's been in a lot of these press conferences is there were a few things that were very unusual. You had Putin come out and address the press first. We are on U.S. soil here, and that left the media scrambling to get their headsets in. Usually it is the
bro, Fox News is big mad. I'm actually glad I found this whole clip. Fox News is big mad.
Yeah, they're mad.
I think this is a very damning criticism of Trump. They're like, bro, you let this fucking foreigner come here and stun us? Fox News is looking around horrified. They about to fucking vomit. Let's continue. This is great.
Leader of the country, the host country of a summit that speaks first and addresses the room in their language. But Putin started right off in Russian, and we all had to get our headsets on and listen to him rattle off this diatribe about the history of the U.S.-Russia relationship, making some allusions to something that we didn't get many details on, but also, without knowing the full background of it, there was something that he said that was a little bit alarming, I thought, that seems like some of the things that he has done in the past, setting up false flags and that kind of thing, saying that we hope that Ukraine doesn't do anything to sabotage the progress that we made today, knowing full well that Ukraine has agreed to a ceasefire unconditionally for the last several months, and it has been Russia that has not agreed to a ceasefire. That was President Trump's main objective today. And when we did hear from the president, he said, we didn't get there, but we think that we can. So a lot of questions remaining for the president, Trump, not just about what was discussed in that room and what might be happening now, but also how that all happened back there. It was just very unusual, atypical, and I think we're all awaiting, the readout, because the way that it felt in the room was not good. It did not seem like things went well, and it seemed like Putin came in and steamrolled, got right into what he wanted to say, and got his photo next to the president and then left. Of course, that is only the piece of the picture that we have right now, and certainly President Trump, who is the host and who is the president, would not want to, I think, enable something that would make him look weak. But we are eagerly awaiting to hear the background on that. And I will also note that we didn't see any sort of scowls on the faces of the likes of Steve Witkoff or Secretary Rubio or any of the other members of the U.S. delegation. And I think had it been concerning, we might have seen something there. But just to paint a picture for you of in the room, how it felt, what we're wondering about, what we need to know to put the pieces together and fully understand what we all just witnessed.
Yeah, I guess you have great sources, and so does a lot of people. And we'll try to put this thing together. The other thing is, it's really not between the U.S. and Russia, as you know, Jackie. It's between the U.S., it's between Ukraine and Russia. We're almost listening to say, is there a chance? Is there a path to a ceasefire? And if not, the president's going to make evaluations from there, because he said serious sanctions come in after, and the arms are going to continue to flow. And so therefore, if Vladimir Putin thinks he's steamrolled or thinks he's got a victory, if a victory is us with more sanctions and more arms, that doesn't look like a victory to me.
No, it certainly would not be. And the president has noted rightfully that the tariffs that he threatened on secondary sanctions on big purchasers of Russian oil like India and China. That
Fox News, they still haven't released any follow-up, bro. They are in shambles right now. I'm gonna show you guys a few more because I think we share enough on this clip. I saw this is from Shay Boyles. The BBC is shocked and appalled that Putin is being treated with respect by Trump. So let's listen to this.
I mean, signs of respect, right, being paid to the Russian president. It's quite remarkable how things have changed. Right? 3.5 years ago, when Vladimir Putin launched his so-called special military operation, the full-scale invasion of Ukraine, he was treated as a pariah. And now he's being given this red carpet welcome.
I feel your pain, brother. I know why they're melting down. They warned Trump about this. Now Trump is getting cooked. He looked weak in front of his own boomer supporters because you know Fox News is not talking about the Epstein files. Like Fox News is the last remnant of MAGA that's still riding and dying with them. You know what I mean? The other side of the right wing is talking about the Epstein files and shit. Talking about why Donald Trump is serving Israel. The other side of MAGA is this is the last part of MAGA he has. The boomer, neocon, Fox News. Now they think he's a weak pussy. This is great. Sarah, you have any other reactions? Do you see anything you want to share?
I'm fascinated by. I'm glad you found the full Fox News thing because people were commenting on the clip, and my clip was kind of for maybe a little bit of a engagement bait, but the full context of it is even worse.
Yeah, I feel like the full video, you see Fox News cook Trump even worse.
I knew, because
the full clip.
First, someone replied on my post and said, "Oh, well, her fiance is some Democrat, blah blah blah." And I was like, "Okay, that's fair. Maybe she does whatever. We'll give them that." And then when you played the whole clip, I was like, "No, they're like legitimately disappointed in Trump."
Yeah, when you see the full clip, it's clear that Fox News is criticizing Trump for being weak. In the clip, it seems like they criticizing Trump for the moment. Now they're like, "Bro, you just got cooked on the national stage." And honestly, I admit that the liberal media that was warning Trump against this was right from their perspective. Like Trump, I said before, I really do believe Trump wanted to set up Putin as being unreasonable in this meeting. He was outskilled to a level that they couldn't even prepare for. Which we shouldn't be shocked that Trump is incompetent. You know what I mean? That shouldn't shock us. You know what I mean? But I think this is a massive blunder by Donald Trump. It's a great moment for multipolarity. It's great content for us because I'm loving, if you guys can't tell, I'm loving every second of this. This is exactly why I told people what was going to happen. I said Donald Trump is going to be made a fool on the world stage by Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin. That's a viral tweet I made after Donald Trump was elected around November. And people and MAGA thought I was talking shit. If you're a loyal viewer of RBN, you see me do that rant while I explain how I'm not worried about Trump winning because Putin is going to make him his bitch. Remember, I was explaining this in December, in November, and exactly what I predicted happened. But even I couldn't imagine it being this glorious. Because I talk about a lot of depressing shit. I'm having a lot of fun on this one. If I'm gonna be 100% honest with you, Sarah, any other thoughts you have? I think we can. I don't want to take too much more of your time. Do you have anything else you want to share? I'm gonna be back on Monday. There's gonna be a lot to talk about.
I'm ready to get out into the interwebs and start trolling people.
Yeah. I'm gonna free you. Let's free Sarah. Hey, let's get out of here.
No, you're fine. I'm good. Let's keep going.
Zoya's love Zoya.
Yeah, I just popped in. Hi guys. Hi everyone.
Bro, the RBN audience demands Zoya. They've been demanding Zoya. So what's popping, my friends? Zoya's love, Zoya's life. What are your thoughts?
I'm really hopping on just to make sure we do super chats. And,
I'm glad you remind me. Thank you.
And the poll, because the poll's funny. And Sarah wanted to share her experience.
Oh yeah, I could share the Border Patrol. So guys, please, I'm not telling you this for pity or anything like that, but just as a reminder of what these people are actually paying attention to, because they're not paying attention to the people that are criticizing Israel. They're not paying, well, they are paying attention, but they're not paying attention to anti-Semites online. They're not paying attention to the Nazi LARPers online. They're paying attention to people like Nick, people like the ACP. I flew back from Baghdad. Obviously, I was just in Iraq. I went to Iraq for 5 or 6 days. It was gorgeous. If you guys ever get invited, please go. It's probably the best trip I've ever been on in my life. But my way back, I've never re-entered the country through SeaTac. I usually try to enter through JFK, which is another pro tip. They're always busy and like kind of disenchanted, so they sort of just wave you through. But I never re-entered at SeaTac. And I re-entered and I got pulled aside and they said, we're going to x-ray your luggage. I said, sure. You know, I'm coming from a wacky place, like a place nobody ever comes from. So sure. And then we go into the back. They had posts from you saw, I deactivated my social media. They had everybody's social media posts printed out, laid out on a counter. They had been waiting for me. Not only that, but they were watching our flights home. They said, did you travel home alone? You're muted. They said, did you travel home alone? I said, yeah, I traveled there and back alone. They were like, well, what about your flight from Baghdad? You're muted again. To Istanbul. Were you with anyone? And I was like, no, I traveled alone. And they were like, okay, because we know Haas was on that flight. So they were tracking our flights home, waiting for us to get home. And they definitely went through all of my belongings. They wanted information mostly about communists. Like other than the information about people in Iraq, like they wanted to know about the sheikh that I met. They wanted to know about communists and communists.
So it's the fact that you was hanging out with Haas, who Haas coming back on RBN next month, dude. That's gonna be a banger show.
He also got stopped, but he was not nearly as bad as I did. And I don't care. I don't blame the ACP. I'm not mad at them at all. I was more fascinated about like what they wanted. And they were really kind of digging into what is the ACP? What does it do? What do they do like with their time? Did you go? And they said, did you go on the trip to Lebanon in February? I didn't, but that's how long they've been watching them. They talked to me all about that trip when Haas and the
feds are watching Haas, and feds are watching DDG, and the people who are they're watching the anti-imperialist left multipolarity movement. They took your phone.
I had cleaned it a lot before I didn't do anything wacky there, and I didn't take pictures of anything shady. So all that was in there was some innocuous pictures and that's it. But I cleaned a lot of it up. But yeah, they took my phone. They still have it.
So as Sarah is being stopped by the feds, as they're watching DDG.
Yeah, he's going into GQ.
This is the most popular streamer in the United States, guys. For the people who wonder why I always take pots on Hassan Piker, that's literally the only reason. Because he's the big dog. When people wonder why the United States left is so cooked, they say it without understanding why. Because you got this fucking dipshit programming a ton of young, thirsty leftists. There are a ton of young gay men and young women who watch Hassan Piker be a sheepdog to the Democratic Party. This is what happens when you tell people that they shouldn't trust Jill Stein, someone who was arrested protesting against the genocide against Gaza, but he played video games with AOC, endorsed AOC, had Jamal Bowman on his show. You remember the guy who didn't know what Crimea was, didn't know what the Donbass was? Him and Hassan Piker got along, had a great old stream. And that's what happens when you tell people to support a genocidal pro-war party. I said it 1,000 times. They don't care if you criticize them. You can say free Palestine from the river to the sea. As long as you tell them to vote for Joe Biden like Hassan Piker and them did, you're not going to be stopped by the feds. You're going to get a fucking GQ magazine shoot. So my friend's getting stopped by the feds. Rome's getting fucked with by the cops in his local area because his organizing. So you guys see the difference between us and them. I gotta be careful what I say because I gotta be careful. You know what I mean? Because I've been they're like how the people I'm associated with now, feds might be looking at me. RBN, DDG, who knows how long we're gonna be able to exist in this rise of Zio-fascism.
Yep.
But Hassan Piker, I bet he's gonna get another fucking GQ magazine shoot.
I can't with
most popular leftist streamer in the world, by the way. Just let you guys know.
Well, they did find out that he's like 60 or 70% botted. So
wouldn't surprise me. The internet is mostly fucking fake. I am 100% believer of the dead internet theory.
I do too.
That shit is dead as fuck.
People every day. There can't be more than 10,000 of you online. Like they're really like I see the same damn people, the same content all day. The rest is.
And
just
I know people in my personal life. I don't know many people in my personal life that's super online, other than like just checking their Facebook and stuff. You know, what I mean. I always thought like maybe I'm around people who are just particularly offline, but now I'm a dead believer that most motherfuckers are offline as fuck. That all people who are online are only just talking to each other. There was a study that showed that there are actually I need to look at this exact. I don't want to misspeak, but like half of Twitter's bots. Damn, I had articles say I had to say my name, never got a chance to do. I wish I remember the exact number, but it was like billions of bots. Half the internet is botted. Which is why I never understood, and I said this many times on RBN, I never understood why people got said on Twitter. Like, Twitter's always been a place for me to yell into the void. Don't allow these fucking anime profile pictures to trigger you. I see it happen all the time. People try to do it to me, and it doesn't work. If you don't have a real profile picture of yourself, and I know this may sound like, I don't know, online elitist, I guess, but if you don't got an online profile picture of yourself, if you're not confirmed, I don't even read your shit. To be honest, I mostly skim past your shit. Don't allow yourself to be angry and be driven to culture wars and division by this fake dead ass internet. And I'm glad, one of the best things that happened with the rise of AI. The rise of AI killed my internet addiction.
Yep.
Because I said many times before, I think AI is dumb as fuck. Like the AI art, the AI video clips that go viral, I think it's dumb. And it helped me curb my internet addiction. I think it's I put my phone, I don't be on the internet like that no more. I think it's dumb. I guess I'm a boomer. So thank God for that. But Sarah, anything else you want to add? I guess we can begin to get out of here. Thank you for joining me.
I think we're good.
Thank you for joining me last second.
I'm so sorry about canceling. I had a phone emergency on Grok. Is this true? I blocked Grok. I can't do it anymore. So they can't do that shit on my profile or on my post. I can't do it anymore. But guys, if you could please do me a huge favor, we just opened up an Instagram. It's ran by my Bangladeshi indentured servant who she subsists off boba tea. So if you could go to Instagram and just find us at DDGeopolitics, that's it. That would be amazing.
This is it's great to have RBN and DDG back live again. We definitely will be doing this again.
We got to get Chris on your show as well. I
was just telling Zoya that, like, man, we need to have. There's quite a few people from DDG we need to have on. Chris,
let me know.
Chris would be a good guest. We need to do a roundtable. Bring some.
Let's do it.
I think that we will do it for our next show. Let's have a roundtable.
Sure.
We have a lot of banger guests coming up. As well. Once again, I got Haas from ACP. He coming back next month. That's gonna be a cool stream. Who else do I have on my guest list? Shama Swan coming back from next Friday for our bi-weekly show. So you guys, I got a lot of series running on RBN. Nico's coming back probably next Wednesday. We hashing out the time. Also have my friend Jason Smith, American reporter from China. He's coming. Nick prime time, bro. We on fire now, man. We had across all streams, DDG, we got 11,000 people watching on
Nice.
X.
Okay.
Yeah, across all our platforms. X is popping right now. X is popping right now. I appreciate you guys for watching. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. Make sure you guys check out Sarah from DDG. And I'll be back every Monday. Oh, yeah, super chats. Thank God. Zoe about to fucking shoot me out.
This is easier than
I'm gonna go eat. Bye, guys. I love you, and I'll see you.
Oh, yeah. All right, Sarah, I'll let you go. Thank you for joining us, Sarah. But yeah, thank God you remind me. So let me read a few super chats, and I can get out here. But I admit that I'm probably just a fucking boomer, a raging boomer. Because Zoya, I be raging at these motherfuckers having full ass conversations with AI. There are people that are using AI for therapy now. I don't get it. I'm lost now. I'm officially that old man yelling at clouds, and I never thought it was gonna happen. I officially don't get it. And now it kind of helped me kill my internet. My internet addiction is dead because internet full of AI garbage now. Anyway, let's move on. Let's get out of here. This is a pretty long stream, but very fun on Friday. I was gonna have Sarah on. And Zoya's love, Zoya's life. Here to guide us. Let's continue. Let's read a few super chats and get out here. The West don't want to see Russian success. We explained many times before the long-time generational hatred that Europe had of Russia. European society hated Russia and they distrust Russia so much. They told the entire world a lie, and many people believe it. Zoe, you remember when we talked about this? There are people who literally believe that there are 7 continents. That's how much. Sorry, Zoe.
The propaganda is wild. I'm so glad Putin gave that history lesson today. It's going to make our lives so much easier.
That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to help people decolonize their mind as well, break through the propaganda. Europeans hate Russia so much, they're like, bro, we're not fucking one part of the continent. We got Europe and we got Asia, and you guys are part of the filthy fucking Asians. No, guys, it's one fucking continent, okay? What is a continent? The name continent, a continual piece of land that starts from one point and end at another. When you look at Europe, you have the beginning point, you have the end point that all connects together in one land. There is no separation. That is what it means to be a continent, a continual piece of land. Once there's water between that land, that is when a continent breaks off. Where is the water between Europe and Russia? They hate Europe. They hate Russia so much. They told the entire world that we're not even on the same continent as them because they view them, and this is the old school anti-Russian hatred that came from European societies, and this is what the Banderite Nazis still believe. They view them as conquered Mongols because we know the late Mongol Empire pretty much expanded almost in the entirety of Eastern Europe. You gotta know I'm a history nerd. They're one of the empires that came the closest to taking over the world. There's a conversation for another day. That's why Nazis hate Russians, because they don't view them as pure white people. They view them as white people who was conquered by the Mongols. The hatred go back hundreds of years. That's where Napoleon and France viewed Russia as a hostile enemy of Europe. And that's why when they see us, they see black leftists, they see the Malcolm X's. Who was a Stalinist. W.B. Du Bois was a diehard. He loved Stalin. He was a moderate in a lot of ways, but he loved Stalin. Black people historically always got along with the Russians because they never had a fucking slave route. They always been friends of convenience for us. I mean, I shut the fuck up. We late. I don't know why I'm getting to another fucking history lesson rant. Let's read a few super chats. Tennessee, Western, North Carolina, Texas still on the water, so we need to send more money to Ukraine. Yeah, if only they had Ukrainian flags, probably they would. Thanks for $5, Perry Stein. American journalists and politicians love to see innocent people shedding blood. They're literally psychotic. Oh, yeah, maybe I should end with that clip. You sent me the John McCain clip, right, Zoya?
Yes, sir.
The video I found wasn't loading for some reason. Maybe they killed the link, but I went on that video. I think, yeah, here it is. This is John McCain. We end on this. Thank you. I appreciate you, Zoe. Thanks for saying that.
We Trump still have to do the poll, though.
What's the poll? Oh, I'm gonna finish super chats and we do poll. Thanks for $2, JB. Trump has no influence on Russia. I'm not sure what exactly I respond to, but yeah, that's exactly. They kind of like imply what with the corporate media, the cope that they were saying was hilarious. But yeah, thank you for super chats. Yeah, Shaman knows where I stand, bro. Like me and Shaman, we literally had a conversation about this on China. Like Shaman she's definitely more of a Trotskyist than I am. I'm definitely more of a tanky. I think me and Sharma, we agree on way too much important shit. And I think the anti-Zionist movement, it's like, it's not like Sharma is advocating voting for capitalists. You know what I mean? I wish Sharma was more of a tanky, to be honest. She's just not. She's more of a PMC, and she wanted to liberate the working class all over the world. That's kind of, I think our agreements on U.S. domestic policies, her principal anti-Zionism, is way more important than whether she likes Stalin or not. That is me. That is me not being a. There are a lot of performative. There are a lot of performative liberals you see online. There's just that way you see a lot of performative communists where they wouldn't work with people. I wouldn't work with this person because he's a Trotskyist. I thought we wanted to reach out and talk to people who disagree with us on certain things. So we were not willing to work with people just because their opinions on certain. I think forming coalitions and having a strong anti-Zionist coalition to challenge our corrupt capitalist class is more important than anything else. The point I'm making is, me and Sharma, we know what we agree and what we disagree on. I think we agree like 99% is where we. I'm just more of a raw tanky, and not a lot of people is there. I get that. Well, I think is there any other super chats? Poll, Zoya? I can never see the poll. What's the poll? Do you want to read the poll, Zoya?
Yeah, I'm about to end it right now, so it's going to pop up in our chat. And the poll was asking, do you respect Trump or Putin as a global leader? And 96% said Putin, 3% said Trump, and that's 435 votes. So nice. I don't blame you guys. You know, I'm watching Putin run circles around Trump, and it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to be an American today, honestly. First of all, you have this educated world leader, and Trump had nothing to say. He just ran away. Now they're doing damage control and coping. It's a good day. It's a nice Friday. I know all of us are in a good mood.
I'm glad he was able to share this moment with us, Zoya. I'm gonna cover this. I'm gonna be following this more. I already know that Sarah about to be jumping on some spaces tonight. We'll see. I'm having a great time. Trump knew he was cooked, bro. That's the thing. Trump, he knew he was outmatched. Like, he saw Zelensky. He saw that little pencil neck fucking cuck. He knew he can push Zelensky around. He know he can push Keir Starmer around. I don't know if you saw Zoya, but when Keir Starmer was in the White House, he was fucking groveling to Trump like a little bitch. Trump literally views these people as fucking betas, and he see Putin, he knows he's outmatched. The same with Xi Jinping. If you haven't, I implore you. I never did it because I wasn't sure if it would make like good content. But watch a speech. Like, I don't think it's good content if I just dug up a Xi Jinping speech and just read it. Maybe it would. I don't know. But you guys should listen to what he says. Like, the difference. Like, people think I praise China and Russia for no reason. I'm astounded. The difference, the best we have in the United States couldn't hold a fucking candle to a mediocre Chinese politician. Like, when you hear them talk about issues, it's not just talking points. They will dismantle U.S. propaganda all the time. When you hear Xi Jinping talk about the United States and how they wasted so much money on Afghanistan while China was building, you will feel dumb. If you listen to Xi Jinping speak and you listen to how many officials from his party speak about the United States, you will feel fucking dumb. Or if you're a Western neocon, you'll be enraged. That's why they don't show these people. You know what I mean? I think you guys should, if you're curious, see the difference between these people. Like, if Xi Jinping had a sit-down conversation, live translation with Donald Trump, he will eat him alive. Take the most intelligent. Take like a Thomas Massey. Take whoever you think is the most equipped Congress member and put them against an average person in China and have them justify why they hate China. Like, Ro Khanna is one of those anti-China people. Like, have Ro Khanna explain his anti-China position face-to-face with Xi Jinping, and he will get ate alive. That's the mediocre ruling class that we are forced upon. There is no meritocracy in capitalism. If you have a rich family, you can succeed in capitalism. If you're willing to do the bidding of the capitalist class, if you're willing to sell out to AIPAC, you can climb the ranks and become a member of the esteemed establishment class. I'm not willing to do it. All right, I guess I need to show. We 2 hours in. Zoya, you want to send us off with something good?
Yeah, I'm going to highlight just a couple of points rapid fire and take us out. First off, Shama Sawant has delivered material wins for the working class. That's all we ever ask of them. And as far as I'm concerned, as a politician, she delivered it. She instituted a minimum wage in Washington State with rising minimum wage with inflation. And she donated most of her salary back to justice causes. So to me, that means she's a real one. And everything else we can talk out. We need to stop with dictating to people who we can and we cannot talk to. We need to talk to everyone. We are not an educated country. That is deliberately. They don't want an educated working class because educated people are tougher to control. So we have been done a great injustice, all of us in our school systems. They have failed us. They have made us ignorant. That is part of the reason why Putin has to get up there and give a history lesson. And he's talking to the American people. He wants you guys to hear it. He doesn't mind you fact checking him. Look it up. And they have no pushback. So we have to keep in mind that we haven't been educated as much as people in other countries, and have some humility and not assume things and learn and educate ourselves. And when we see someone that's actually fighting for us and delivering wins for us, we shouldn't cancel them because, I mean, I agree. Trotskyism is historically bad, and we can talk about why. But just because Shama aligns with that particular label, we can't dismiss all of the material wins that she has brought to us, because her win in Washington State laid the groundwork for minimum wage being raised in other states. So it actually had a national cascading effect, and we have to give credit where it's due, or we're going to end up canceling everyone. And the only people that serves is the ruling class. So I really wish the working class in general understands that every time we're divisive, every time we cancel each other, even if the disagreements are legitimate or real, we are doing the job of the ruling class for them. There has never been a successful revolutionary movement that didn't include a big tent of all workers that are pissed off. They're just pissed off at the ruling class stealing their wages. That is the common ground that we need to unite on. Some people are always, for religious reasons, going to oppose abortion. Some people are always going to be for women's choice. These disagreements, they're wedge issues on purpose, because we're a large country with a huge diversity of cultures and religions and people from all over the world. So we're never going to agree on everything. That's a losing litmus test. We need to unite around our common interests as workers. We need to understand these are oppressors. They're stealing our lives. They're stealing our livelihoods. They have taken from us healthcare, education, childcare, maternity leave. Do you guys know that the makers of baby formula are the ones lobbying Congress to not give us maternity leave? It's all corporate owned. It's all sabotage, and they manufacture these wars. We just had a guest on. He did great research. I forgot his name, the martial artist professor, Taoist professor. Yeah, he did great research on how Peter Thiel decades ago was laying the groundwork for Trump. He literally was inventing culture wars, publishing papers to push culture wars, and donated to the campaign. J.D. Vance is from the Palantir sphere. Technocracy is coming, guys. You're going to regret it if you don't unite and fight for each other and each other's causes now. Solidarity is something that needs to be a priority above everything else, because you know what? The ruling class has solidarity. And until the working class learns to have more solidarity than them, we are destined to always fail.
Very well said. Zoya's love. Zoya's life. I couldn't say it better myself. I'm glad that you came in at the end. We always love hearing from you, Zoya. Thank you for joining us on a Friday. Maybe you should join me more for Fridays. We miss you, my friend. I want to play this clip to end us out. This is John McCain. This is what every single shit lib who supports the Ukraine proxy war don't want you to know. So I'm going to play this clip to end us out with. it's great historical context on why Putin is not giving up an inch. Because remember, Donald Trump played along with this and armed the Banderite-backed Ukrainian regime as it was shelling ethnic Russians during Trump's first term. So let's end with this clip. Make sure you guys decolonize your mind. Appreciate you guys for watching. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. Have a great weekend, y'all.
This is your moment. People of Ukraine, this is your moment.
Народи український, це ваш момент.
This is about you, no one else.
Це про вас.
This is about the future you want for your country. This is about the future you deserve.
Це про ваше майбутнє, про майбутнє вашої країни. Це про майбутнє, на яке ви заслуговуєте.
A future in Europe.
Майбутнє Європи.
A future of peace.
Майбутнє миру.
With all of your neighbors.
Майбутнє всіх ваших сусідів.
The free world is with you. America is with you. I am with you. And the destiny you seek lies in Europe.
І ваша доля, як ми вважаємо, знаходиться в об'єднаній Європі.
Ukraine will make Europe better, and Europe will make Ukraine better.
Thank you. Thank you.